Heart First leadership isn't what you say, it's how you show up, how you regulate, how you communicate, and how you execute when it matters most. We are Heidi and Ryan Sawyer, and you are listening to the Heart First Leadership Podcast.
Welcome back to the Integrated Mindset Podcast. I am Ryan Sawyer.
And I'm Heidi Sawyer.
And we are your co-hosts. And today I have a question for you. Like I always have a question. Every time we have a question. Are you someone who wants to make a larger impact? Do you want to have deeper connections to either your significant other, your family, your teams, your community? Do you desire just a larger, more fulfilling life? Right? Then this show is for you. If that's not you, then just go ahead, hit pause, find another show about something that doesn't matter, because here we talk about things that do matter. And today we have a special guest. This is an Impact Makers podcast here, episode where we're bringing on a good friend, a teammate, Christy Deniston. She is a coach with us. So she actually facilitates the integrated mindset curriculum process. Amazing content, right? And she is a phenomenal coach who's done an insane amount of her own work before leading up to working with us. And we're going to let her kind of tell some of that story. So thank you for being here, Christy. We're excited to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So let's just start off. Give us just I know that like we can make these conversations really long, but give us a screenshot into just the work in general, like your story. Everybody has a story of what brought them to what we call doing the work. Doing the work is the inner work, right? Of taking the mirror, looking in the mirror, of bettering ourselves. Give us a little bit of just a screenshot of what brought you specifically to the work.
Yeah. So it all came about after I had children, and specifically after my oldest. I have 3 kids. They're 9, 11, and 13 at the time of this recording. And specifically when my oldest became a toddler, and there was pushback, power struggles. And my husband at the time was a teacher, and I was a school counselor. And we had reflected to us that we'd be amazing parents. You'll be amazing parents. And I didn't feel like an amazing parent. And I actually wasn't acting like one either. And so the work came in because I was desperate, very much desperate, to have peace in my home and to feel connected to my kiddo, to know how I could have him listen to me, but me also be willing to what I call bend with parameters, and just to be able to enjoy each other and get through a day where they're smiling and not just constant power struggle. So I found the work of, long list of things. I found the work of positive parenting, became a positive parenting coach, the work of a life coaching program. That was this very extensive program that I did. All of these things I did because I was desperate for answers, tools. Yeah. And I actually didn't have the tools. You'd think I would. I'd never been a parent before. I was great with other people's kids. So finding those tools within those programs, and then out of both of those, I thought I have to offer this to others. So I've been coaching in different capacities, and then also did a big health reclamation program too, that got into some yoga and meditation and breath work. And so then that journey came in. And then of course, then I found you guys, and I thought you guys are you're all of that into one little package. So yeah.
Well, that's what we call it integration. We're bringing all these things out there that everybody has, access to, right? And there's so much information. We're bringing it in, simplify it, make it so we can apply it, so we can integrate it into our lives and make the impact, become the version of ourselves, have the connection, have the experience of being a parent in your case.
Mm-hmm. Right? I love that, how you said, Christy, that you were desperate for the answers, that you were seeking this for yourself. I think that's how every coach that I've met, that's how they got into doing the work that they're doing, is because they were looking for an answer for themselves, and they were looking at the way they were showing up in their life and going, this is not really who I want to be. And It's really, really powerful when you can take that personal experience and move it into your coaching and into your mentorship with other people, because so many times when people are coming into coaching or looking for help or looking for answers for themselves, they want to work with somebody who has been where they are. So can you tell us a little bit more about kind of who you're working with now and how that relates to your own personal experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And one side to that is I just told a good friend I was visiting, I said, I don't offer anything that I haven't offered myself, by the way, that I haven't already done some massive integrating in with myself. So, yeah, so for me, it's working with very much specific. I mean, I'll work with any human, but very specifically the mom that is overwhelmed, especially littles for me right now, because I'm hopping out of those stages. My youngest is 9. Those little years of overwhelm, of gosh, that's actually not who I am. I just behaved in a way that's not who I am. But they believe that that is who they are, because that was me. At the end of the day, I'd put my head in my pillow and I'd say, gosh, I am mean. I am cruel. I am. Like, wow, those are not helpful. First of all, those are not helpful I am statements. And what I didn't realize that I realize now, and I love working with these parents, I was already whole. I was already an amazing parent. I just wasn't behaving out of the amazing parent that I am, the amazing, whole, not broken human. And so I love working with those women that are in that place.
It's such a crucial stage of our lives when we have little ones.
Mm.
I remember the amount of, like, that's when our story was at its most pivotal point within our marriage. Like, what is the numbers? I don't know what they are, but I'm assuming that like divorce rates are very much connected to having little ones, people losing their identity, and then not having the awareness, the tools, and the support and sense of community to realize like, oh, we are all going through this when we're in this transition of going from being single to married to having little ones and running businesses or jobs and shuffling and handling and managing and juggling all these things that we just aren't equipped. We're not equipped. And then further it, we think we're alone in that. Right. Because we're the only one who feels screwed up. Everybody else seems to be doing pretty good, especially if you look at social media. Everybody's doing really good. Right. Their life just looks all put together. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just a crucial stage where there is a lack of support. And so it's really neat to see, somebody who's like, yeah, I see that hole and I'm going to work to fill that. Right. So it makes me kind of curious about, if you could go back, like this version of you right now, because that's the goal of a coach, right? Is to say, oh man, I wish I could go back and I could talk to my 16-year-old self or my 25-year-old self or whatever that is, or if I was starting a business, right? And man, what could I have taught my younger self to start that business? Focus on X, Y, and Z. Know this and this, like what tools, right?
Because I think like what you were saying, Christy, people telling you, okay, you're a school counselor, husband was a teacher, you're going to be great parents, you have all the skills. It makes you feel like there's something wrong with you, because the way that our culture shows motherhood especially is that it should be just so natural and effortless and
joyful.
Going from not having anyone depending on you in the way that children depend on a mother to feeling like, okay, who am I now? And how did I even, what was it like to be me before I was a mom? And having that kind of loss of identity that happens to all of us when we go into it. A lot of these things are not really talked about. It's just kind of like, oh, you see the highlight reel of how great it's going to be. So I love Ryan's question. As a young mom, what advice would you go back and tell yourself now, knowing all the things that you know now? We are all leaders. If you're ready to stop waiting and start impacting your environment in a powerful way, We want to connect with you. Click the Book Now link in the show notes to book a call with a Heart First coach and discover what Heart First leadership can look like in your life and in your environment. Now back to the show.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm a very visual person. So I actually got a visual of myself, literally in this shirt, going back to myself and I can remember back in Seattle, we lived in a townhouse and toys are everywhere. And just like put my hand on her shoulder and be like, shh, it's okay. It's okay. Like all is well. All is well. And you're okay. And they're okay. And yes, there's a mess in the house. And guess what? Cleaning up the mess isn't going to make it better. Just be right here with yourself, right where you are. Look your kiddo in the eyes. Take a breath. All is well. It'd be a lot of all is well. There's nothing to fix.
Yeah.
Because that's been a big key for me in coaching too, is I was just speaking to a good friend about this. There's nothing to fix.
Yeah.
She's like, I got to get better at this. I'm trying this. I'm like, shh, there's
Yeah.
nothing to fix.
Yeah.
Can you be with what currently is? And I think that would be another piece too. I've delved big time. It's potentially my dharma in this lifetime is going inward and releasing all the things that I've just stuffed down. That I've just stuffed and been like, nope, don't have time to feel that. Oh, nope. And it's just, you're so tense. And so I think that's the shh to that mama is like, shh, like relax a little, let yourself breathe and be here. And I love also that I would tell her, there's nothing even to figure out. Like, you don't have to figure out like, well, why do I react this way? Like, what did they do? Okay, so these are all the things that my kid does. So now I need to like be proactive and think about it. Yeah, I mean, sometimes this can be helpful. That's some of the work I learned in positive parenting and offer that. But can you just be in the breath?
Yeah. So
come back in, rooted, grounded. Can you breathe into whatever the sensation? What are you feeling in your body? And literally, that's all you have to do. Let it go. And now you can be present with your kiddo. Right.
So a couple of things pop up as you're talking there. I love this answer. Like, and we forget the truth of us, right? And then we don't operate from that place. We operate from a place of thinking that, well, if the toys weren't there and the toilets were cleaned and if this was happening, whatever, then I'd be okay, right? And so this is a really important component of the work that we do and the work that you do is that we're going to help you reconnect to the truth that you are whole, you are perfect, you are complete, and then actually have a practice and a way to go and connect and have a greater awareness, a greater connection, and so therefore a greater ability to operate from that place. When you come back and you connect with your children, you look them in the eye and you say, I see you, you actually are doing that, right? And so I want to highlight something real fast that I actually, it popped up in some of the consciousness studying that I do. You know that I love to study just the idea of evolving our consciousness, right? And so one of the things that popped up was if we recognize ourselves thinking that if the house is clean, then I'll feel better, right? That's one way to approach life, right? That I'm going to clean the house so I feel better. Rather than the other way is to learn how to remove the stuff that you've stored in there, which is what you're talking about. You were saying like this suppression. Now you're all tense. Now you're this pressure cooker. What we're talking about is let's release the pressure. Let's remove the garbage that doesn't belong there, right? And then we'll actually find ourselves, maybe not toilets, but we'll find ourselves cleaning, right? And enjoying the process of having a clean space out here in our home, in our living room, our kitchen, because it's clean in here, right? Mm-hmm. So did I illustrate those two different ways of how we potentially relate to parenthood, our lives, right? To where the mess is bothering us because we're not okay in here. And you're talking about let's let's learn to be okay in here. And then we'll naturally, spontaneously, joyfully clean up the mess out there, right? Or the mess won't bother us.
It's not that you just feel okay inside and then you don't do anything and you go, oh, nothing matters anymore. I'm all good here. Like, it actually makes you act from a different place, is like what you're describing, is you're coming from a clean place inside. So when you go to take that action, it's not to fix something. It's just because you're making it better.
It's to project the cleanliness that you feel inside.
Right, you're macking it.
The enoughness, the completeness, the wholeness that you are.
Yeah, it'll just overflow. And I was even thinking as you guys were talking, I mean, I've experienced this as I've done that work inwardly, which is courageous, by the way. Some of the stuff you don't want to touch. But then once you do and you get a little taste of it one time, getting to taste like what it felt like to release something, and you lived like, I'm still here, still breathing, I'm fine. I'm actually not just fine. I am experiencing life in a way that I never even knew was possible. It's because you tried something new. No wonder, right? And so now out of that space, it's like, I describe it as this overflow then out into my life. And I've experienced this then just this morning, even cleaning with my kids. It was a joy to do our jobs together, to watch them help me cook the eggs, and so it wasn't, I did it like I left the house and I was like, oh, we did everything, right? Rather than the past old me would have been like, we didn't do this. Okay, good. We got that done. You see the tone is different, right? It's achieving rather than living, being with, flowing out, being in, you get to naturally flow and be in your present moment. And you won't just sit back. Of course you want to keep going. You want to evolve. You want to enjoy your life. You actually I think that's an important point. You actually are wanting to enjoy your life, and your life is more enjoyable, and you get more and more taste of that, of what our lives could be.
Yeah. Or even you spontaneously find yourself enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like a real simple thing that maybe before you wouldn't have enjoyed as much previously, right? Like cooking or cleaning or doing a yard project or whatever. Like I have a ton of conditioning, past conditioning that's built up in my body and my mind from being a very forceful performer the majority of my life, right? Getting something done meant like turning it on, and turning it on meant get the hell out of my way. And this isn't fun. It'll feel good when it's over because it'll be complete.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's mowing the lawn or whatever. And this last weekend, we're doing a yard project and preparing this spot in our house for a shed to go in, because we're putting a shed in, but it needed to be leveled. I had to dig down a good 1.5 feet over, and quite a bit of dirt moving, right, to get ready for this 8 by 16 foot shed. And I found myself like being irritated in the process of doing this work. And then I'm looking over, and the person helping me is my 10-year-old son. And I'm like, because in my mind, I thought this will take us a couple hours. Then I realized we got into it like, this is going to take us damn near the whole day, right? And so that kind of irritated me and frustrated me, because it's messing with my timelines. It's messing with my timelines, right? So what I'm doing? I'm snapping at my kid, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm taking the whole entire possibility of joy away from this experience, because I'm trying to feel okay by the experience or the task being done.
Yep.
Rather than allowing myself to explore, like, how could I make this fun? How could I completely change my past wiring, conditioning, the way that it was modeled to me to like do a project in the yard and get it done, hurry up and run up, whatever it is, right? And explore how this could be fun, right? So we ended up slowing down and taking way more pride in it. We ended up having to build a retaining wall, 2 trips to Home Depot. And at the end of it, we actually felt so accomplished and had so much fun. And we learned, and my son learned how to build a retaining wall. And he was like, that was really cool, Dad. That was like doing Legos. I'm like, I know, right? Like real life Legos, And anyway, but it took me like going, wait a minute.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
Is this the experience I want?
Yep.
Is this who I want to be?
Yep.
No, is this what I want him remembering? No.
Right.
Every single time I look at that shed, I'm gonna remember how I was an ass getting that dirt work done for that
Right.
shed.
Mhm.
Right. I'm gonna remember that.
Right. Yep.
And then generationally, we pass these same, ideas onto our kids. And then our son is doing a project with his son or his daughter. And he's like, oh, I remember when I would do work with my dad and it was go, 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 and you get it done. And, we unconsciously pass along these same narratives without sitting down and telling your child a story that moms are overwhelmed and stressed and all these things. We're not telling them, we're showing them. So being able to regulate yourself and learning those tools has, tell me, Christy, how has that, I know a little bit because we've had some conversations, but how have you seen that modeling translate in your kids' lives? Because that's how we learn, is through modeling. We can tell all we want, but we have to show it.
Yeah. Ooh, I get emotional even hearing you ask that question. I think of first my youngest, who's very similar. He's very much a mirror for me. Can go real quick to the fire, right? To the, and I'm living proof. As I regulated my nervous system, I would even stand in my kitchen and like practice some of my breath work, and I use my hands too. I'm very like somatic and sensory, and I'd stop and close my eyes and do that. And sure enough, there he is. He's a little guy when I got into this work, would be practicing breathing. Or he'd be like on our trampoline in a shavasana. That's the end, the end pose in yoga, where you're just like spread out like a starfish. And I'd find him in my front room. It was my yoga meditation room. And he'd be going like this. I don't think I did this, but and he'd sit cross-legged and he'd be breathing. When something, he had a trigger come in, and then instead of like smack, responding by yelling or stomping or whatever, he'd go find his breath. And then he'd come back. So, I mean, he's one of the greatest examples of that in my life. It's been wild. It's been wild to watch. And there wasn't anything I had to teach him. I have taught him explicitly, but he was watching me. And not only that, this is something else I've loved about my journey is I know that they sense us. And we know this in science too, but they sense our energy.
Oh yeah.
So it isn't even you can close your eyes and they can feel what your energy is like too. So don't discount that.
So if you're putting on the mask that everything's okay, but you're not actually okay, they know.
Oh yeah.
The kids know that it's not okay.
Yeah. Oh
You're
yeah.
not okay, and it's not okay.
Yep.
No matter how good you think you are hiding it.
Yep.
They absolutely know, right? Without going into, and there is science. If somebody wanted to know the science, I could geek out on the science of understanding how this happens through the social engagement. It's called social engagement system, right? Like the tone of your voice changes, the like expression, micro movements, expression of what your face looks like when you smile, when you're not smiling, when it's a fake smile. Like their unconscious mind picks up all that information, processes it like mom's not actually okay. And then you act like it is, which makes it even worse, right? Because then it's confusing. This is a confusing message, right? So if you're not okay, be not okay and learn how to be okay with not being okay, showing yourself compassion, opening up into curiosity, these things that we do, right? To be able, so you can calm, regulate, and create that environment for yourself and for your children that is so much safer.
Yeah. And we see this generationally. We see this in both boys and girls, right? We see them acting like, for boys, not emotional, right? It's not okay to cry or be upset or have strong emotions other than anger. Right. So we see that. And then we see that with women too. It's like, well, nobody wants to see a woman be angry. So that's not an okay emotion. So we do see that culturally and generationally, that kind of continuing down the line. But the really beautiful part about being a parent now is that you have this opportunity to break those generational cycles and to say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to let my kids see that I'm doing the work and that I have emotions and all of the things that are part of the human experience that are totally okay to be experiencing. You have this opportunity then to show them this is what it looks like, but then this is what it looks like to use the tools.
Show them the bridge
Yeah.
to get to the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
Without even
You know,
necessarily explicitly teaching them,
right.
just by modeling, we can change that generation and the next generation and the next generation. And that's something that really excites me. How about you?
Yeah. Another example of that with my daughter, just to speak to sons and daughters, is she's very much in the dance world. I was too. And I've watched her since she was really little. She was definitely, as most kids are, very free. And then I watched her, she's 11 now, kind of move into a little bit of, I'm not sure. Oh, you see me? Oh, interesting. Like where they think they're on the stage, right? That's a developmental piece where they're like, everybody's watching me, even if they aren't, they feel that way. And I watched her as I have, and you guys have gotten to watch me on this journey where I've really debunked some truths about me that are not true. And instead said, no, I'm actually really fun. Yeah. I'm fun. And as I have been more free, like I just went to a concert with my husband last week and I danced, and then I got to watch some of his buddies start dancing a little more. And then they were having fun and we're singing and we're like, it was so, I felt like a little kid again. Yeah. And as I've been embodying more of that, and then more fluid, even as I'm talking, I move more fluid in my body. It's wild to watch her just re-find herself. They often say like those tween teen years, kids get insecure, and I'm like, that's not necessarily true. That is not what I'm watching.
That's the story. That's right.
That's the story.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful.
And it's a story that you're changing because of you just legitimately learning to do the work, right? Like people ask, well, how do you get your kids to do this work? And it's very simple. Do it yourself.
Yep.
Like, don't tell them, show them, right? You know what I mean? And why, yeah, do our kids love waking up at 5:30 in the morning to train? No, I don't know. I think Colton pretends he likes it. I think Haley's like, I'd be okay sleeping in a little longer, right? But when they do it and they get up with us and they train with us, they are happy. They are smiling.
It changes
right?
the whole rest of the day for them.
And if I were to tell them to get up and to do some breath work and to push their bodies a little bit and break a sweat and then spend a few minutes in stillness, and I wasn't doing it, like if I told them to go be confident in the world and chase their dreams, but are you?
Yeah.
Right. Like, if I'm not doing that, like, how can I expect them to do that? Right. And that's what I think is just really interesting when it comes to being a parent. Like, that's, we have taken this conversation in a beautiful way. Like, we've gone from like, hey, you're okay, and it's going to be okay, and they're going to be okay, to like, really the best way to make that possible is for you to learn how to be, not just know that you're okay, but here's the turn of the screw. Like, Christy, I know that you're amazing at actually getting another individual, another human, to feel like they're okay.
Yeah.
I want to very clearly determine the gap between, hey, listen, you're going to be okay. You're okay. You're enough. Mm-hmm. We hear that a lot out there in the world. Hey, you're enough. We're enough. Everybody's enough. Be enough, right? No. Go from knowing you're enough to feeling like you're enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what you're able to do. And then when you feel like you're enough, you actually, you go from knowing it to feeling it, to experiencing it. Like, that's what impacts your relationships that you have with your marriage, significant other, children, right? Mm-hmm. And then that's the ripple effect that's going to be eternal, because your kids are going to go to school and they're going to feel enough.
Yep.
Right. And they're going to treat their friends like they're enough. Right. Mm-hmm. And like, holy cow, let's go so far beyond ourselves.
And I have seen that firsthand, Christy, being able to co-lead this last group with you and having young moms in there, and seeing you actually facilitate that with them, like as kind of a fly on the wall and getting to see you working your magic and really not just taking the integrated mindset tools and applying them, helping people to apply them, but actually really truly holding the space for people. And I think that's what makes a really great coach, is someone who can hold the space, who knows when to allow someone to explore a little bit, but then also when to kind of redirect them to a direction that's going to serve where they are ultimately wanting to go and the truth of who they are, instead of allowing people to get into stories that kind of perpetuate the same old stuff that, we've been telling ourselves for far too long.
Exactly. And the only reason I believe I can do that is because I did that. I called it my pit of despair. I lived in my pit of despair. It's real deep. Can't see my hands down here. Long time, like almost to like I can't even barely reach anybody, I don't think, right? All these stories. And I recognize what it's like to be in that victim place, and it does not feel good. And so to be able to be with them with that for a moment, absolutely. And let's come on, let's offer you a way out. But the piece there though is it cannot be me doing that. And like you so beautifully said, it's that holding space. It's that I know I've been there, and come on, here's how you get out. And then their choice to come out. I had somebody reflect to me. I've been writing down people's reflections from working with me lately, and keeping a book of that. And they said something, it was within that group, said, you do this beautiful job of holding space, and it's like this warm embrace. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing, right? Like so many of us didn't experience as kids, enough of that warm embrace. Like you are just fine right as you are, crying, being in your victim place. Yeah. Okay. Be there for 1 minute. Okay. And now.
Set a timer on the victim, right? Yeah.
You sense it. You can sense it. You can feel it when it's like, okay, because it will not serve you to stay there. It won't. And then again, to what you're saying, Ryan, about helping people feel that in their body. If I can feel that in my body and bring it up even as we're speaking, I can transmit that to them. And then I can help them, guide them with tools for what does that feel like? What does it feel like to feel calm? What does it feel like to feel empowered, right? Versus victim. And if they can get it in their body, I'm also a yoga teacher. One of my favorite things about teaching yoga is if I can help guide them to feel what that feels like in their unique body, watch out, world, because they are going to shift and change, and they won't have to keep coming back to me either. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they'll get to go on, and maybe they'll coach, maybe they'll create. And that's my hope, my vision for the world is we just keep offering it to each other.
Right. And if nothing else, they're going to learn to coach themselves and their environment.
Yeah. That's one of our big goals with integrated mindset, is that we wanted to create something where someone can be empowered to have the tools and to be able to facilitate their own transformation beyond the 10 weeks with their coach. Yes, you have a mentor that's helping guide you. Yes, you have a group that's providing community and support, and that feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm not alone in what I'm experiencing. But then beyond that, we're not about someone needing to keep coming back for coaching because they're relying on us or anybody else. It's really equipping people with the tools that they need to have long-term success and learn how to coach themselves.
Absolutely. And that community piece, and you get to be in community and keep growing and keep evolving, as Ryan has helped me very much see. He was a little resistant to, I'm good. He's like, no. If you don't evolve, you die. Oh, you just said it so well. So clearly that we get to do this together. We get to be in community together. That's huge. That's a reflection I keep getting from people I've worked with over the years is, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. And you don't have to continue your journey alone now that you have tools and you're all empowered and you go off by yourself. No, don't do that. Don't do that either.
We are just honored to be on this path with you, and it's excited for the growth that you're experiencing now, and the projected forward. I see it very clearly, just this incredible impact and ripple effect that you're making within your own four walls and within the community and beyond, right? So we're just super excited to be a part of that and be able to, create that vision together, right? Because that's the beautiful piece is that sense of community. So one takeaway, one actionable step. That's what I want to hear from the collective here, but I'm really going to focus more on the two of you. So maybe Heidi, if you could share a takeaway, and then Christy, you'll follow it up with like, what's one thing, what's one actionable step somebody could take to begin to explore this, right? So Heidi.
Yeah, I think the takeaway that I'm getting from the conversation is that one person can make a difference. One mom out there who sees that in her current experience that she's not living the life that's aligned with the highest version of herself and who she wants to be, that when she commits to that change, when she commits to that growth, that can make a unlimited amount of ripples out into the world through not only her children, but every single person that those children come into contact with, and so on and so on. So that's kind of the takeaway that I'm getting, is just feeling inspired, Christy, by the work that you have done within yourself and that you're doing with moms now, because it just started with you. Yeah. And I think that's important for people that are listening to realize, like, your journey, your story is important because it does affect an unseen, massive number of other lives.
Yeah, don't underestimate the power of an individual. There's studies done. One person can impact 100 or even 1,000. So just one individual who says yes to working with Christy, that one person is going to impact. We just cannot underestimate the power of each of us doing our own internal work. I love that, Heidi. So one thing that somebody can take to begin to integrate, Christy, one tool, give me one just takeaway that's going to help put somebody in a place of taking a step forward or action.
You want me to speak to a tool?
Sure. Whatever the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah. Well, what came to me was just, I'm putting myself back into those little years again. And just that acknowledgement, even just, I know for me, there's lots of stuff going on, right? Yeah. Toys and cleaning it. Just close your eyes. Take away one sentence. Just close your eyes. And one of my big one is then put your hand on your heart and breathe into it. Okay, what do I love about my life? Pick one thing. And then maybe one thing you love about the kid that's bugging you the most, right? But just this moment of shh. I just keep doing the shh. It's okay. So it's okay to close your eyes for a minute, as long as your kids, are safe. It's okay to close your eyes for a second. It's okay to not keep doing and trying to make things better. It's actually really important to stop, close your eyes, remember your breathing, remember what you love. It's very much the first step.
I love that. Yeah, it's a simple component of just taking in less information for a moment, right? Just reducing, decluttering the amount of stimulus and information that's coming into your awareness. Because when you have those toys that make a lot of noise, right, those can be a lot of stimulus coming into your system. So we just thank you for your time. If you're listening to this podcast, we appreciate, obviously we value that so much. We appreciate any sort of review on the podcast, sharing this with friends, with family, of anybody who you feel like might benefit from hearing this. And then obviously, without a doubt, if this resonated with you, or someone who it would, to reach out and connect with Christy. I'm assuming we'll put all kinds of links.
We'll put a link to Christy's page where you can learn more about who she helps, and then also a link if you want to book a conversation, just a casual conversation with Christy. I think that's a great first step as well, is just, center, breathe, get yourself to a space where you can think about a next move. And then maybe your next move is just to schedule a call with Christy and to talk to somebody who understands firsthand, because you just heard it, where you are, and can give you some direction, whether that's going through integrated mindset with Christy as your guide and your mentor, or something else that she directs you to based on the conversation, I think it's a good jumping off point and a very safe space to be able to connect. So that I'll put the link in there for that
Awesome.
too.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you again, Christy, for your time too.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Remember, leaders go first, alignment matters, and the environment that you create is the legacy you'll leave. We'll see you on the next episode.